Hey, peace, man. Okay, this is about the best hippie I could do for you. In this episode, I want to talk about common secure protocols that we see on the internet. And the reason I'm trying to dress up like a hippie here is because the internet was basically invented by a bunch of crazy hippies. And the idea of security and things like that made absolutely no sense to them. I mean, to them, the internet was going to be free for everybody, man, and we could all do what we want. And the moment somebody wanted to put a credit card down to buy a cheap set of Cheetos on eBay, well, that all kind of went out the window. The bottom line is that over the years, we've had to take a number of insecure protocols and come up with secure versions. Now, for most of us, this is fairly straightforward. For example, we all know that regular HTTP has been supplanted by HTTPS. However, there's a number of other ones, and I just want to do a quick run through on these to make sure you're comfortable with these common secure protocols that we'll see on Security Plus. All right, so can I get rid of this? Whew! I don't know how you people with hair pull it off, man. I like the slick feeling. All right, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, let's start off with good old DNS. Now, DNS has been around forever, and we love DNS. That's why we can type in www.totalsem.com instead of whatever the IP address for Total. I don't even know what it is. The downside to DNS is that it's always been an insecure protocol. By the way, DNS traditionally is going to be using TCP and UDP port 53. Make sure you know that. DNS is susceptible to things like, for example, domain hijacking, where other people can grab your domain out from under you if you don't update it quickly enough. We can do things like URL redirection. I can actually go into a DNS server, and if I can hack into it, I can have people, instead of going to a site they want to go to, I have them go to someplace else. URL redirection. The other one is cache poisoning. Cache poisoning is kind of similar to URL redirection, but basically all DNS servers keep a cache of recently queried, fully qualified domain names. And if I can go in there and inject some fake ones, I can poison a cache and again, make people show up in places they may not want to go. To get around all this, we use something called DNS Sec. DNS Sec has been around for a while. It uses the same port number. The only trick is that all DNS zones have certificates. So you'll see DNS at the upper levels of DNS structure, but usually us individuals don't use one. The next one is SMP, or Simple Network Management Protocol. SNMP uses UDP ports 161 and 162. SNMP is the tools that we use to query things like switches and individual systems, and we can say how many packets per minute are going through, that type of thing. SNMP was originally, with version 1, completely unencrypted in any way, so anybody could grab this information. In fact, you could query devices. Starting with version 2 and now with version 3, these are all well encrypted and they do a very, very good job. If you're going to be using SNMP, make sure you're using version 3, because every SNMP capable device, every piece of SNMP software is all capable of version 3. Okay, let's just run through a few more real quick. Next is good old SSH. SSH protocol replaced Telnet. Telnet had no encryption whatsoever. So now if we want to do terminal stuff, we use the SSH, and that runs on TCP port 22. Good old FTP, which runs on port 20 and 21, has been completely replaced by a number of secure versions of FTP. The two that I want you to know about, first of all, is FTP Secure, or FTP over SSL. This basically just runs through an SSL tunnel and it runs on TCP port 990. The alternative is to run SFTP, and that's SSH FTP. It's kind of the same thing as FTPS, but instead of running through SSL, it runs through SSH, and as we know, that is TCP port 22. The last one for secure protocols that I need you to be comfortable with is the Secure Real-Time Transport Protocol, or SRTP. SRTP is for voice over IP type applications, and we discovered that we didn't necessarily want people hacking into our phone calls, so we came up with a way to encrypt it with SRTP, and that runs on UDP port 5004. Make sure you're comfortable with these particular secure protocols. Not only do I want to make sure you understand what they're for, but make sure you know those port numbers, and you know why. It's on the exam.